Hello and welcome back. This is session number 2 on acting through song. So last session, we really tried to create our character biography, didn't we? So we took our character and we tried to think of all different words that could describe them. And then we had to think about how we could characterize that through our voices and through our movement. So after our warm-up, we're going to take a character which I think we all know, and we're going to try and see how far we can get into analysing our character and then seeing how we can put that into practice. So let's do our warm-up. Brill. So let's get started on our warm-up. So the first one is chewing toffee. So let's make sure we warm our cheeks up, get our tongue moving, really moving everything in your face. You've got to imagine it's the chewiest toffee you've ever had. So we've already done this last time, so let's just chew it out. Chew, chew, chew. Brilliant. They stay the same. Don't you hesitate, girl, put your records on. Tell me your favorite song. And the next exercise we're going to do our lip trills again. So this time, if you want to use your fingers, you can. If you don't need them, then you just leave them away. And we're just going to go. That's it. Keep going. Some warm-up exercises do make you look a bit funny, but oh well. And the next one is our big yawn. So big yawn, how tired are we today? Brill. The more you stay the same, the more they say. And our face scrunches, so making your face as small as possible. Trying to make it like it's being fit into a little box, and then as wide as possible. As I say, you look a bit funny, but oh well. Good, and this one we're going to do a vocal warm-up. We're going to do something called Mini Mini Ma. So the words will come up on the screen. We're going to go mini mini ma, mini mini ma, mini mini ma, ma 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 ma. Mini mini ma, mini mini ma, mini mini ma, ma 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 ma. Mini mini ma, mini mini ma, mini mini ma, ma 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 ma. Mini mini ma, mini mini ma, mini mini ma, ma 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 ma. Mini mini ma, mini mini ma, mini mini ma, ma 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 ma. Mini mini ma, mini mini ma, mini mini ma, ma 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 ma. Mini mini ma, mini mini ma, mini mini ma, ma 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 ma. Mini mini ma, mini mini ma, mini mini ma, ma 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 ma. Good. So that should get our voice warmed up. And then our last one is going to be our focus clap. Do you remember it? Let's give it a go. Concentrating. Good. Let's get started. Good. So now we're all warmed up, we can get on to our acting through song. So as I said earlier, what we're going to do today is we're going to take a character that we already know and we're going to see how much we can characterize it through our own bodies. So let's take Mr. Twit. Okay, so from the Roald Dahl, The Twits. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a short clip, a short video of Mr. Twit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try and analyse and see what we think, how he would sound. Okay, so here's that video. Pay close attention because we're going to be looking in more detail. Okay, brilliant. So now we've watched that little clip of the Twits. Now we can really start to delve into Mr. Twit as a character. Okay, so I've got some things written down. I'm sure you've got some things as well. Okay, so just looking at that clip, what can we find out about him? So the way he talks to his wife, he's not very nice to his wife, is he? He commands her around. He's quite rude. He's quite ignorant. He insults her. He goes, "Hey!" So he blurts out. Okay, so these are all vocal moments that we could use in our music. Okay, so he's shoveling the worms into his mouth. That's not very polite, is it? So think about if someone's shoveling something into their mouth, how might that characterize themselves in their voice, in their singing? Okay, so they're not being very careful, are they? So there's tomato sauce all over his hairy chin. So that shows he doesn't really care about what other people think. So that's something really interesting we can look at when we start characterizing through the voice. So if somebody doesn't care what other people think of them, they can do whatever they want, really, can't they? So that gives you so much vocal freedom and movement. If someone doesn't care, they could do anything at all. Okay? So even like he commands his wife, buy the other kind next time. Buy the other kind. It's very snappy. Okay? So when we're starting to think about music for this, we can really start to pull on these things. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to take these things that happened and we're going to analyse just a couple of them and see what we can do with our bodies, with our voices, with our posture that can really start to expand on that. So, if you were trying to act out a character who's quite rude and quite ignorant, what might you be doing with your body? Would you be quite stood tall? Maybe you'd be hunched over and you don't care. Now, there's no right answer to this. There's no right answer. It's just thinking about it. You've got to make sure that you think about what you're doing so that you can put that into practice and so the audience can see what you're doing. Okay? So we've got a rude character. He doesn't really care, does he? So maybe he's quite standing up tall. Maybe he looks down on everyone. So maybe he's always got his head high and he's looking down at people. Okay, so these are the kind of things. So let's say, he has tomato sauce over his chin. So he doesn't care. So maybe when he's walking, he walks exactly how he wants to walk. He's not kind of conforming to the social norms of the day and age. So he's doing whatever he wants to do. He doesn't have a care. So if he's walking down a street, for example, and someone's walking at him, he's going to walk straight into them. He doesn't care what they think of him. He wants to get from one place to another. Okay, so then when he's singing, maybe if you had a character who was maybe more vulnerable and more insecure, they might stutter, they might be looking down, okay, they might be scared. Whereas this character doesn't feel like that, does he? He would not falter at anyone. So he might have a very, very strong pulse to his words and to his music. Because he is getting there. He's doing it. Okay? So what I'd like you to do now is I want you to take an idea from Mr. Twit, so maybe the fact that he wiped his beard on the tablecloth, and I want you to see how far you can push it in terms of characterising it. So what does wiping his beard on the tablecloth mean about him? That's one step. What does that mean? What's he like? And then, what would that mean he acted like? That's another step. What would he mean his voice sounded like? That's another step. And then once you've got a really rounded idea of what your character is like, I'd like you to try and do that yourself. So standing up, become Mr. Twit. Even if it's walking into a room, standing up, singing a song. You could sing a song as Mr. Twit. Okay? So let's try and put this into practice. So pause this video, have a go, and then come back to me. Brilliant. So now you've done that with Mr. Twit. Now you can do that with any character. So if you're playing in a school play, for example, that's what you can do with your character. So really thinking about what that character presents itself like. Okay? And then looking at the music and seeing why the music does that, why the music sounds like that. So all of these things are going to make you really, really strong. Okay? They're going to make your character seem real. Brilliant. So that's it for this session. I hope you've really enjoyed it. Keep practicing. You can do it with any character that you think of, and I will see you next time.